Scandinavian Bob here, hi. Today I thought I'd share why I decided to give up porn at the age of 36 and how it all happened. I'm 48 years old now, by the way, and since many of you are new here, you have probably not heard my full story. Yeah, I had a great childhood. No abuse, no major trauma or anything like that. I feel like pointing that out because there's a misconception in the porn addiction community that only people with problems develop a porn addiction, but that is simply not the case. Anyway, I also grew up before the internet and life was different back then. As a teenager, like most guys, I occasionally tried to get my hands on adult magazines and my fapping habits were pretty average for that time, nothing extreme. I started dating around the age of 20 and in the beginning everything was normal. My libido was strong, I had no performance issues and I genuinely enjoyed the intimacy. I thought it would always be that way, but little did I know what was about to happen. I didn't get the internet until I was 24, and back then, believe it or not, the internet was so slow that I still at that time relied on DVDs and even the old VHS tapes for my porn. So I'd say my consumption was moderate, so I didn't think much of it. And throughout my 20s, I had healthy relationships and a strong sex drive. But at the age of 28, everything changed. I got high-speed internet. Suddenly online porn was everywhere. Streaming tube sites started popping up and I thought it was great back then. So much variety. And as access became easier, my consumption also increased. Slowly but surely, I lost interest in real-life women. Porn required no effort, no rejection, no risk. Dating by comparison felt like a chore. I still only used porn about twice a week, but my sessions became longer and more intense. Now, I did never escalate into any illegal content, but I did escalate and the damage to my brain was still happening. And I had no idea at that time. Years passed. I stopped dating. My social anxiety got worse, my focus got worse, my self-esteem plummeted, and my depression deepened. And at the age of 36, I felt like I had had enough of the loneliness and decided to try to start dating again, even with all that anxiety. And I met a woman through an online dating site. She was actually the most beautiful woman I had ever dated so far, and we hit it off. And after 1 month of talking, we planned a weekend trip together. That trip changed everything. So there I was in bed with an absolutely stunning woman, and I felt almost nothing. My arousal was mild at best. I could barely perform. My erection was weak and sluggish, and it all felt so unnatural. We tried again the following days, but the problem remained. I knew something was wrong. This was not normal for a 36-year-old otherwise healthy man. It wasn't just performance anxiety, I knew that, and I found her objectively incredibly attractive, yet my body didn't respond the way it should. So as soon as I got home, I started searching online like crazy, and it was then I found Gary Wilson's site, Your Brain on Porn. I devoured everything on it, and in an instant I understood. It was the years of fapping to online porn that had rewired my brain. My libido for real-life women had been hijacked by pixels on a screen, and I had desensitized my reward system on top of that. Yeah, I also discovered porn rebooting forums where people who wanted to give it up had online journals. And that same day I made a decision. I was going to quit using porn. But it wasn't easy. I relapsed a lot in the beginning. My streaks looked something like this: 35 days clean, then a relapse, 7 days clean, then a relapse, 21 days clean, then a relapse, 41 days clean, then a relapse, 4 days clean, then a relapse. And of course I had many shorter streaks as well, during periods where I was really stuck in a binging mode and in relapse cycles, and sometimes with just 1 or 2 days clean at a time. And you know what, guys? It actually took me many years before I finally started to get the hang of it. Despite the setbacks, I kept dating though, because even with the relapses, I did see improvements, especially during those longer streaks, and that kept me motivated. So I noticed that staying away from porn, it was working, which meant I dug deeper. I studied everything I could get my hands on about addiction and brain chemistry. I think I must have read Your Brain on Porn at least 20 times by now. Now, quitting porn it was probably one of the hardest and most stressful things I ever did, especially during the first couple of years. There were times I felt like I was the worst rebooter ever, but I kept on going. Through trial and error, I started learning what worked better for me and what I should leave alone. And eventually, I started going on longer and longer and longer streaks. And then, sometime in early 2019, I had my very last relapse. What finally helped me stop? Educating myself on how the brain works, learning as many tools and tricks as possible, learning new patterns, trying different systems, and then finally coming up with a system that worked incredibly well for me. And I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. But during those first years of relapsing, it was sheer persistence and trial and error that kept me going over and over, never giving up for more than 7 years of relapsing. Discovering Gary Wilson's work and the whole rebooting community was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Because as I progressed, my confidence grew, my libido returned, but it wasn't instant. As I said, there were plenty of relapses, several flatlines because I relapsed so much. But over time, the rebooting benefits started rolling in. My social anxiety improved, my depression lifted, my confidence started to skyrocket. Even my gains in the gym improved. My focus became super sharp. And then, of course, whenever I relapsed and went into weeks of binges, the benefits faded away again. But they always came back when I stayed clean for long enough. And fast forward to today, I now have the same healthy libido for real-life women that I had in my 20s. And it's really reassuring to know that as a 48-year-old male, I function just as well as I did at 20 years old. And this is why I have a YouTube channel today, to help spread awareness about the potential negative effects of porn and to help other men escape the same trap I fell into. There are 3 big truths this whole journey has taught me, and they are: 1. Online porn can hijack your sexuality, and it does so by rewiring your brain to prefer pixels over real-life people, leading to serious sexual dysfunction. Number 2. Constant high dopamine stimulation can numb your brain's reward system, making everything in life feel dull. Not just sex, but music, socializing, playing a game, literally everything else will feel boring. And the biggest lesson of them all, instant gratification is a trap. Because we think it's going to give us more pleasure in life, but ironically, it will just lead to anhedonia, which means a net effect of less pleasure in life, or almost no pleasure at all, because we can't feel pleasure any longer. Yeah, so if you take only one thing away from my story, let it be this: the longer you stay on this no porn journey, the more you will wake up to what porn has really stolen from you. But the good news is you can take it all back, and that's exactly why I created the 4-step porn crushing system, a proven system designed for men who are serious about quitting porn for good. After years of relapsing, experimenting and learning, I am proud to say I really figured it out. This system, my 4-step porn crushing system, is built on the exact same principles that worked for me. Principles that have since then been refined and fine-tuned even further to help hundreds of men just like you break free from the grips of porn. In fact, just yesterday I got this email from a guy named Mylan. Quote, "Hi Bob, I want to thank you for helping me with your no porn program. Best money I ever spent. I was so desperate at one time that I prayed to God to help me, and the next thing I know, I saw your program pop up on my YouTube. I bought it and followed the instructions. I am now 100 plus days in, and I love this stability because I have never ever felt better." Unquote. He also sent me a before and after picture, and I promised him to respect his privacy, so I'm not going to show those, but let me just say the transformation was nothing short of remarkable. Milan's story is just one of many. Hundreds of men who found real, lasting success using this exact system. And this can be you as well. Listen, you don't have to do this alone. You do not have to spend years and years like I did stumbling around through trial and error. Instead, you can follow in the exact footsteps of someone who has already figured it out. In just a few months, you could be experiencing the same transformation Milan did. Stability, confidence, and freedom are right within your reach, but only if you act now. Listen. If you're tired of relapsing, have lost trust in yourself, and frustrated with feeling like you'll never break free, you owe it to yourself to try the 4-step bone crushing system, because I'm telling you guys, this is here to help you get your life back on track fast. With this program, you'll get step-by-step guidance to escape the pawn's grip and to create a new, stronger version of yourself. No more time wasted. No more frustration. Just real, lasting change. The stability, confidence, and freedom you're craving are waiting for you, but you got to take action now. So if you're ready to reclaim your power and finally end your porn addiction, click the link below right now and get started today. And okay guys, if you ever wondered why the flatline happens and why you sometimes fall back into it, you can take a look at the video you see on the screen right here, as over there, I share exactly what's going on with that. This is Scandinavian Bob signing out for today. Consider giving me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.